What's up, everybody? This is Jerry on Talking Nerdy About Digimon. This will be Applisode number 6. We're going to be going through episode 18, 19, and 20. Unfortunately, the rest of the guys were sick today, so no, I'm just kidding. They're here. I'll just go ahead and introduce yourselves. Oh, we're going that way. Okay.
I'm Brandon.
I'm James.
And Tyler couldn't make it today, so we've got a special guest today. My buddy John here.
Hey, how's it going? I'm John.
Yeah, that's John. I
Yep.
just introduced him as John, so he's John.
Yep.
And James, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody where they can find us?
Sure. So, obviously, you can check us out on Facebook, Talking Nerdy 815. You can look us up on YouTube at Talking Nerdy. You can follow us on Podbean or subscribe to us on iTunes for the podcast itself. And then email us anything you got, any questions you got, or suggestions for the show, things like that, to talkingnerdy815@gmail.com.
Yeah, we haven't really gotten
a single email yet.
Requests, emails, questions.
We
Anything
did
about
get,
that?
when we started the podcast, though, we did get a couple likes and a couple subscribers.
Okay, yeah,
So,
no,
that's a start.
I mean, yeah, we're only what, 6 episodes in on Appmon.
We have about 10. We have about 10
of our
episodes.
episodes in on
Yeah.
Appmon. This will get us through 20, and then we've got what 3 on
The
Digimon
third one will
Adventure.
go up this week.
Yeah, this next week. I think, what's the date? Oh, that'll be July 4th.
It will be July 4th,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
I might go and put it up
Yeah.
tomorrow then.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't want to do it on this special Independence Day?
you
No, because
Started
he
off
wants
right.
to be lazy.
I'll be
No.
I might be sleeping.
Because he's
Okay.
again.
All right, fine.
I got
No,
a crazy
that's
work schedule.
I'll go ahead and give you a heads up. We did do some goofy stuff on that episode.
That episode was fun.
It was fun though. we had this little segment towards the end
That was the best.
where we actually I would throw out some, like, an actor's name, and James would put them into the Digimon universe.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, it was awesome. I mean, I guess by the time you're listening to this one, you would have already had to listen to that.
Yeah.
So it's just because we're recording this one before we put that one out, so that's weird.
It is weird.
But anyway, does anybody have any other now? Oh, John's wearing a very nice fashionable Patamon shirt.
Way better than that one you wore that you talked about 18
you know what?
million
We bought
times.
We bought them at the same time. It was from Once Upon a Tea. It was one of their weekly shirts that they do for like $12. So yeah, subscribe to them.
It's very nice.
And eventually, you can probably get your hands on one of those sweet shirts. Sweet shirts. So yeah, we ready to kick this boy off? Do this. So we're picking up episode 18, which is titled
The bond between Haru and Yujin. Stop the rampaging Reshiman.
All right, and last time we went over this, it has been full 3 weeks, I think, since we've recorded an Appmon episode.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, we went on a bit of a hiatus.
Yeah.
Vacations and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
So.
All that fun stuff. But we kind of went over with the guys like what they thought that it would be about before this. I already knew what Resho was, just from watching other things
Nerd.
in Japanese. Listen, okay, when you go and you watch all of Tokyuger Sentai Resha, Super Sentai Resha, then you come hit me up, okay, buddy?
I already watched it.
All right, sure.
I watched it before you was born.
That doesn't even make any sense.
It could make sense. Time travel.
Which we're actually maybe get into a little later. All right, so getting into this episode.
What? Time travel or?
Yes, time
We're
travel
gonna
is
watch Quantum Leap
essential.
next.
Essential part of this show. We open up with was it Watson, right?
Watson.
And he's talking about a treasure hunting game, and they're all playing it. And
Did you get the title of it?
the title of it is L Treasure.
Oh.
L. It always says it doesn't
Yeah,
have parentheses
yeah.
in it, or do
Yeah.
I put the quotation?
I think you put the air quotations in it whenever you say it, because you're always
My
doing
bad.
quotations whenever you do the L.
I love quotations.
Leviathan's not very subtle.
And it's made by L Corp. which is, like, how come nobody notices these things? They're after this huge thing called Leviathan and all these L things. They even ate at a restaurant.
But they don't ever call it Leviathan Corp, right? It's always L Corp.
Yeah, it's always just the L. But it's the same. It's in the same font every time you see it. Like,
have they seen it?
It was like on the side of the building.
But I mean, has our team seen the bad L, like I'm assuming the Leviathan
playing
L?
Treasure.
But if you remember, we'll get to it later. But the L, that shows up in a later episode is not quite. Doesn't look exactly like the bad L. It's a little blockier, maybe. Like, it's not. The bad L is very flowy. It's very cursive.
Okay, if we sit here talking about the font of this L for the rest of this episode,
I'll show you.
It's gonna last. So we pick up with Haru talking to Ai about it, and they're talking about there being a rare treasure in it. Okay, now essentially what this L treasure game is supposed to be like. The easiest way to put it is Pokemon Go, because everybody plays Pokemon Go. I don't know if it's taboo if we talk about that in a Digimon podcast, but
no, it's okay.
So
they kind of go hand in hand sometimes.
How it works is you just go to a location and you treasure hunt, like a park or something like that, and
like mini geocaching.
That's essentially what it is.
There was a game that the company that did Pokemon Go put out first.
Yeah, and I can't.
That's
remember
basically
the name of it.
this, but I can't remember the name of it either.
Yep. If you think of it, please just call it out.
It's gonna be funny in like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Gonna be like,
yeah. We'll be at the end. We'll be ready to say the ending stuff, and then somebody will mention it, and then we won't even care at that point.
Yeah.
So anyway, they're all talking about this really rare treasure that not a lot of people has found, and Eugen, I think, is talking to them about, hey, let's get together and let's collect this treasure. It's at that point, like, I think whenever Eugen came up, like, Haru went to hide Gachmon, and Gachmon's just basically like, oh, you don't want him to know about me? I knows about me, and he's just not sure he's ready to put Ingress.
There it is.
Thank you, John.
Yep, no problem.
All right. Don't look at that. He's already putting forth the effort.
See,
Um,
probably take your seat soon.
I know, but it's so warm already. So anyway, Haru's debating on telling Eugen about Gachmon because he doesn't know if he wants to get him into this mess that all the kids have gotten
That's
into.
almost exactly the way I put it in my notes. You read my notes?
I can't even see
Haru
this.
is debating on if he should tell you. Like, that's almost you.
Listen, man.
It looks like chicken scratch.
It does look like you can't even read
Yeah,
this
I
stuff.
can barely read your handwriting. What makes you think I can read it from across the table
That's
and
true.
upside down?
My bad.
Okay.
It's just we're like so in sync. Maybe that's what it is.
So if you want to continue from there, since
So it turns out Leviathan's behind the game.
Yeah, because I think at that point we see
because we cut to like Myanmar or whatever, and
or whatever,
and so they're specifically setting up these coordinates to these treasures for a reason. I don't know if it was in this spot right here, but I know they say it later on. Like, they're trying to get some data on like human
like
interaction and like how they would
respond to certain things.
And so that's what they're doing with this game. But so they set
experiment.
it's a social experiment, exactly. Yeah. And they set the coordinates for this treasure, and everybody rushes to get to this
treasure.
Like everybody.
Yeah, and they're all getting on trains.
Get on
which
trains.
Which is your biggest way to transit.
In Japan.
Yeah, in Japan. It's everybody uses trains.
And in the craziness of this train station, they get split up.
Yeah.
So
we did forget to mention that Eri and Astra end up showing up at the park.
Right.
And then I think at one point Eugene
because
kind of mentions how different Haru is and how he seems more like a main character now than before.
And they also, I think Eri Eri kind of is saying it's weird that you guys are friends. Is that this part or is that a later part?
No, I think that's
because they're different. They're so much different, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's this funny little montage scene of them getting, because they're jumping around. You remember, because they're jumping over this fence and like Haru trips up over the fence, he falls down. You know, that's like a funny little just montage scene of them running around town chasing this treasure before they set the coordinates for the super rare one that everybody ends up rushing to. But yeah, they're mentioning how like it's weird that they're such good friends because they're so different, you know.
Right. And then we go back to the scene with Munimon and Coach Mon, and they're kind of talking, and that's whenever you see the octopus looking at Mon, and he's kind of weird, like a purple octopus, and he's got like, I don't know, kind of like a helmet on and a gas.
It's like
mask.
a gas mask, yeah.
Yeah. So he looks very sinister. So people start getting on these trains, and they're going to all over like weird places that wouldn't even make sense.
Remember, real quick though, they get split up, and it's Eri and Eugen are on one train, and then Haru and Astra are going another
direction. And then I believe they find out that Reshomon is the like the train program.
Yeah, transportation app.
Yeah, it controls all the transportation and stuff like that. So, you know, you'd think that they would have like security from viruses, but not virus Appmon, I guess. So it gets infected, which is a huge problem.
Yeah,
like,
or you would think that since it's such an important like government infrastructure, that there would be human fail-safes set up in case something like this happened.
Yeah, it's really strange. So anyway, the other two boys, they find out that essentially the Reshomon app program is being controlled by the L virus. So was it Astra and Haru actually go through the AR field? And they're like trying to figure this stuff out. I think at one point it shows Eri trying to grab her.
Yeah, she's trying to get to her Applisode drive, which is like in her pocket or something. But the train's so packed tight that she drops it on the floor. Yeah, and she's like stuck in that spot. And
Haru ends up sending Eugen a message, saying that he can handle it.
Pretty touching message, though. Don't worry.
So,
I'm going to fix this.
So
I'm going to save everything.
At that point, like, I guess Eugen just kind of like chilled and was like, all right, he's got this.
Oh, yeah.
He's got faith in Haru. So at that point, the octopus shows up, and Gachmon does a search and finds out that he's a Virusmon, and he's the Appmon that's been responsible for creating the L virus since the beginning of the series
and spreading it
that's been infecting everything. They actually defeat him fairly easily.
Oh yeah,
he is just a pushover. Like they just
was it kind of like
he's
gone.
Yeah.
They just kind of bat him away, and but then there's a problem because though Reshomon isn't infected anymore, he's asleep.
Unconscious.
Yes. He's unconscious,
but he's still speeding to the
through the dead end.
Yeah, to the end of the track.
Yeah, there's a dead end coming up. So all these people were pretty much
no conductor in the train.
Yeah.
But guess who saves the day though?
Who saves the day?
Musimon.
Oh, because
so Musimon
he does the voice,
imitates the driver, and he's basically like he's like, all right, next stop, is blah, blah, blah. And it like wakes Reshomon up because he thinks the driver's talking to him. He's got to do his job now. No more sleeping on the job. And he wakes up and is able to stop just in time.
Just at the nick of time. Ding. How about that?
And so everybody gets off. And Eri and Eugen. There it is. That paper sound. So she
you should use a smaller notebook like that.
Yeah, I really should.
So people can't hear you.
I can afford. That's probably like a 5-star. 4-star. What's the What's that great
5-star.
notebook company? Is it
know.
5-star?
Yeah.
This
That's
is
$5.
Cambridge. I
Back
bought
in the
this at
day,
Walmart for
whenever
like $2.
you weren't cool in school unless you had like 5-star
They
binders
had, like,
and stuff.
cloth
You know?
and everything.
Anyways,
Let's
we're not going to do
this
that again.
podcast. Yeah.
Last week we
We
got
talked about pencils last time, and now we're talking about notebooks.
Notebooks.
yeah.
Stay tuned next week and we'll talk about pens.
So we get a little backstory here
Yeah,
of Yujin and Haru. So Yujin is transferred to Haru school in like
Fourth
fourth
grade.
grade.
Yeah.
And he's
really
a big
good at
soccer star, you know.
Yeah.
So he's out practicing with the team, but he's a little harsh. He's a little, you know, he wants to win, so he's pushing them to
Do
play
different
to do
maneuvers,
do
pass
this,
the
do
ball,
that.
which, you know, as a young child in fourth grade, it's like every kid like just wants the ball.
Sure,
You know, just
yeah.
kick the ball around.
Yeah.
And they're not they
They
want to
don't really
score.
think
They want to
about
score the point and
tactics.
stuff. Now in soccer, whenever you're only getting like 3 points a game, it really makes a lot of difference, you know, playing with your team and
Right.
everything.
But the team ends up kind of getting annoyed with him and going off,
Like, oh,
leaving
why
him
don't
there.
you just play by yourself?
Yeah, and so we see Haru
And he's just trying to kick
just
the
trying
ball.
to kick the ball, just
Yeah.
being just a little, just a dork, you know. And he asks Yujin if he can help him, you know, if he'll help him, teach him how to shoot the ball or whatever, just kick it. I mean, the kid can't even kick the ball. And so they start playing around, and it kind of makes Yujin realize, like, it's the fun. You gotta just have fun with. Yeah, you want to win and everything, but you gotta have fun too. And like the team sees them out there, and sees Yujin kind of having fun, and so they come down and
Ask for basically,
yeah.
you know, give us a second chance. Let us try again. We'll start over.
And so we cut to after this tournament that they have, and they got second place, but nobody's bothered by it. They're like, hey, it's okay. We had fun, and we'll do better next time. And we see that, you know, Haru and Yujin, they have a little moment where it still shows that nerdiness of Haru, because I think Yujin goes in for like a high five. Haru doesn't even know what he's doing with a high five either. He does some.
What do I do with this?
But it shows that creation of their little signature high five thing they have, where they sort of fist bump and then high five, you know.
Yeah.
But they end up becoming good friends, and that's how they're.
And then we just jump over to the present where Haru just decides, you know, I'm not going to tell him about it. I don't want to include him in all this danger and everything. Because, I mean, the way Yujin is with his personality and everything, he would want to help out Haru and stuff like that. And then I think at that point, they're walking and they end up finding the treasure. Yeah. So they end up finding the crazy rare treasure. Then we shoot over to Miyunamon and Coachmon. And we basically, so, you know, we're like, oh, hey, Virusmon's gone. No more viruses. We're good to go. Smooth sailing, right, James?
No, I'm sorry to tell you.
Oh.
There's actually like 1 billion Virusmon.
Oh, no.
And
that's why he's so weak.
Yeah, no, the back lights up with all these eyes.
You see these eyes just
and
start
you
popping
hear
up.
like what what he says is like vi. Yeah.
And that's it. That's episode 18.
That's the end of the episode. Cut to credits.
Cut to that weird pedolicious end theme song.
I just skip it. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, okay, man. But it's like, you know, what is she? An idol. Yeah, it's just kind of like your typical idol ending.
But we do get those cute, where they introduce like a character from that episode.
Yeah, and they talk
the
about
little
him
cardboard
and stuff
cut
like that.
things.
And I think they talked about Reshmon.
Probably. Or
So
Virusmon. Actually, it might have been Virusmon.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I think it was Virusmon. So, getting up into it, episode 19. This one's exciting.
Oh, this is where things heat up.
Yeah. Episode 19. The internet ocean is in great danger. The time has come. Ultimate Appli fusion, or Appligotai, depending on where you're standing.
Apple fusion.
So the episode opens and it's Valentine's Day, and
least favorite holiday.
Gachmon is kind of going over what Valentine's Day is, what it's about, and everything like that, and how there's so many different...
You notice how he says it's a day when they give chocolate to each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Valentine's Day is.
Yeah, no, that's
It's
exactly
a day when
what
they
it's
give
all
chocolate
about.
to each other. And there's different kinds of chocolate.
What if you're diabetic, though?
You get that.
Do you just
Sugar-free.
have... You just have a really...
Sugar-free chocolate.
Shitty... Oh,
nasty ass sugar-free.
that sounds
chocolate.
worse than not having chocolate.
Well, that's... Yeah, it probably
You get
is.
chocolate without the taste.
But there's different kinds of chocolate. So there's like... obligation chocolate. Lover's chocolate. That's what you would give your significant other.
Was this friendship?
It's something. Yeah, it was something like
just
that.
friendship.
Obligation chocolate's like
But
what
we
you
see-
give your parents.
Well, look, we see and she gives Eugen. No, she's not giving Eugen. She gives somebody.
I think it's
Watson,
it's
maybe.
Watson and Haru chocolate.
And then she gives Haru chocolate.
And Gachmon takes his little search scope and he looks at it, and it's an obligation
It's
chocolate.
an obligation. She gave. Yeah, it's a little.
Which we already know that the real couple in this is Eugen and Haru. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure off screen or somewhere around this episode, Eugen gives Haru that.
You think they had
Valentine's Day love chocolate? Yeah.
But I don't know.
One day that obligation chocolate will turn into lover's chocolate.
You think so?
One day.
fingers crossed.
But so Gachmon starts wondering if it's about time for Taimon to acknowledge him.
Since it's
as
a special day,
for
people to come together. So
it's time for them to come together
and
become ultimate. Well, they don't know that yet, right? He just wants to.
Well,
acknowledge
he
him
said
as,
hit ultimate.
So yeah, so he's so Haru's like, maybe.
No, I don't think that's exactly what he was talking about. But good try, buddy.
So then we see more chocolate being given, and everybody's like, this is great, this is a great day. And then Watson, you get to Watson.
And he's like, oh, that's not the only great thing about
this is
today.
fine, yeah, but today is...
And he's got a giant, a tablet, and he flips it over, and you see Waffle OS.
Waffle. It's time for the newest version of the Waffle OS to be released.
Now, Waffle OS, come to find out, is it's like what?
Do you know what an operating system is? Because Aerie did not know what it was,
which is odd in their world. But she works at a bookstore, and I don't.
No, Aerie's the idol.
Oh yeah,
Aerie's the
no,
I'm
dumb.
driver.
I was thinking of I because we were just talking about I.
Aerie being an idol,
she would have to know.
Had to have known about it.
What an OS
She'd have to
is.
be on
because
point with what's
that was silly to me.
Now.
That was a little silly. But
What
yeah,
did she
so
think it was?
she just said they kept saying OS, and they was like, "What's an OS?"
Yeah.
That's what she said. What's an OS?
So it
So
turns
he goes
out
into this thing
the two big OS systems in their world. You have your Waffle OS, which basically everyone uses.
They're pulling. I think they said 70%.
Oh, I wrote it down, my friend.
Hey, look at you.
70%. So that makes up a lot of the world,
Right.
So then our remaining 30%, what is it?
Well,
is it Apple?
It's not Apple.
iPhone,
It's not like
Android or
Android. It's nothing like
No,
that. It's a small corporation.
They have the remaining 30%.
They have the remaining
by
30.
themselves, right? Yeah.
It's L Corporation.
L Corp.
You ever heard of this?
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys ever heard of this thing?
Sounds
Doesn't
harmless.
sound menacing or anything,
Yeah,
does it?
no.
L Corp.
They even got this really nice font for their L and everything. But they're basically more
L,
of,
right?
yeah.
L Corporation.
Why are you going finger
Air quotes.
quotations? Oh yeah,
You know.
air quotes all day.
So
All day, every day.
We're gonna get into some air quotes in the next episode.
L Corp though.
Nice segue.
L Corp. Oh my God. L Corp, if you didn't know, stands for this Leviathan. Leviathan is running this corporation.
Right.
And
As an operating
It's
system.
what L Corp. Their biggest thing. They're for companies and stuff, right? There's more companies and businesses that use theirs, but whereas Waffle is more of an all around. Like you get, and they actually, and I'm a little offended by this.
Oh, okay, here we go.
They whenever they show whenever they first say Waffle OS or Waffle Core, I guess it's Waffle OS. They don't have a Waffle Corporation. Waffle
Yeah, they said
Corporation?
Waffle
Okay,
Corp,
Waffle
yeah.
Corporation. It shows almost silhouettes of like a lot of people.
Yeah.
But they're all heavier people.
Yeah, dudes
Like,
too.
Yeah, they're all heavy.
They're all dudes, heavy
Yeah,
dudes.
That's a little
Fat guys.
That's
They're all me. That's what they show. They're all Just go ahead and say it. You were nowhere in that picture, by the way.
I know.
I just want to throw that out
What
there.
about me? Someone like me.
It sucks because I love waffles, but
you notice too the waffle had that bite taken
yeah,
out of it.
Yeah,
so,
it had a bite taken out of it.
One of the dudes, one of the silhouettes.
So anyway, I guess we shoot over to Munimon.
Yeah. So
and she's just kind of like ticked about this. She's like, meh.
Yeah, because L
It should be the other way around.
Yeah, it should be the other way. They should be running things.
Yeah, she's talking about the L operating system doing a takeover. So it cuts to Waffle Core, and I guess like they have this giant building with a waffle on top of it, with the chunk taken out of it, and it shows one of their computers in one of their rooms, and she just kind of pops up on it, and then all of a sudden it goes to the AR field, and it gets to their HQ, Waffle Core's HQ servers, and at that point I think she pulls out she gets to the version 11 waffle, and which it's kind of funny that version 11, instead of it being like just data or on a computer or something, it's just this giant golden waffle.
Yeah, like on a pedestal.
Not very surprising, I guess, but I thought it was funny. So then she pulls out a Virusmon and tosses that little MF
because
on
it's
it.
V-Day, right?
Yeah, V-Day.
What's V stand for?
Virusmon.
Virus. Vi. That's Virusmon.
Are you done?
Next. So, anyways,
Moving on.
it goes and it infects this waffle, right before it infects the shit out of this waffle.
fix it, man.
Right before version 11 goes live. So then it just starts multiplying, and all these Virusmon hit all these
Windows
phones.
Vista all over again.
they end up just flooding all of the phones before version 11 goes live. As soon as they download it and everything, their phone just littered with Virusmon, and they're like, "What the hell is this?"
Yep.
Which I thought was kind of funny, and I guess it makes sense since it's in the phone and not out in the open, that people could actually see Virusmon on their phone. I mean, you think they just
Could
saw
they
Plex?
see
I'm guessing so, because it almost looked like a wallpaper with just Virusmon plastered all over.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I know the team could see him. Like even when they were watching the news or whatever, and it cut to a bunch of like a shot of a bunch of phones. They were like, you could see the Virusmon infected on all those phones.
Yeah.
And our team can see him, but I don't know if people can see him.
At that point, we start going through, and and of course, as these things work, a news broadcast pops open, and they're like, "Oh, we got this report on all these things with the new Waffle OS," and it's like it's making cell phones unusable, disabling transport, distribution to certain places, and medical treatment, and businesses, and everything is going haywire because they all use Waffle. And we cut to a few places that are being affected, and I think at one point they cut to a hospital, right? And I think one of the funnier ones, there was this doctor looking at a computer, and he's like, "Oh
No,
yeah,
that's next episode.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, because it's that.
Yeah.
Dang. Well, okay.
This
one goes to an operating room.
No.
Wow, that's the next one too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We literally just watched this too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. I said medical
The thing
treatment,
that-
and my mind went straight to that.
The one notable scene in this was you cut to a group of people outside. Looked like, I don't know, outside some landmark or whatever. But you have a guy that's got his back to us, and as he turns around, it's Afro Man. And all he does, I don't know what he's doing,
Yeah,
but
he
he's
just
got his
says
phone
no.
out, but he just does his, no. So obviously that OS has messed him up. But yeah, so they're watching all this, and Haru gets somebody starts talking to him on his little app watch thing.
Ends up being Ray.
And it's Ray, and he's at Waffle Corp.
Yeah, he's cornering Munimon, and he says that they have to destroy all the Waffle OS data located on the server island on the surface web. And then all of a sudden he just gets cut off, like right there. So he just kind of leaves him with this like grim message.
Does he get
of,
cut
like,
off, or he just stops talking to him?
He probably just stops talking to him.
I feel like it's probably.
But for
I've said enough
to make our characters feel better.
Yeah.
So it's go time. Like our characters know what they need to do. So they go into the RA field, go to the surface web. They're getting close to the server for Waffle S, and then all of a sudden all hell breaks loose, and all these
cannons
turrets, all these turrets and everything just start shooting virus
heck
at
of
them.
a defense system.
I think at that point one of the Atmon, Gachmon actually tells them like, hey, don't get hit by this, because in this world your body's data, and if it gets hit by virus, you're pretty much screwed. So
don't leave out the hilarious
they're all dodging in their own way. I think Eri is like about to get hit, and then Dokamon pushes her out of the way. Gachmon and Haru narrowly escape. I think they just kind of split apart, and it goes through. And then we turn to Musimon.
Astra is like
Astra. He
dodges one in a cool way. He dodges another, and he says like, "Can't touch this" or something like that. And then they they dodge away from a bunch, and it like explodes behind them, and they take a selfie.
Yeah,
with the
virus
behind them. It's great. Yeah. It's so good.
It's not good, but it's
there. It is. And they land on the ground, and Eri says like, you to Haru, like, go try to destroy the server. We'll handle things out here.
Yeah. And whenever they get there, Gachmon suggests Apple realizing Dogachmon.
Because there's more
Virusmon
and
there's more cannons
and turrets
inside.
And stuff inside.
So Dogachmon pops up and makes short work of these defense systems. Like there's missile launcher and stuff, and he just splits it in twine. Then it shoots over to Ray, and he has his hands full. Let's see.
Yeah, we get quick cuts to everybody. Fighting the virus.
What they're doing. I think the best part here was whenever we cut over to Musimon and Astra. No particular reason at all. They're outside and there's a wrestling ring.
Yeah.
And Musimon's in the middle of this wrestling ring.
Virusmon?
Fighting Virusmon. And then I think at that point, like, because the Virusmon are practically everywhere. Haru and Gachmon pop up in this room where you could tell this is a big, important room. It's round, circular. There's a bridge, and then everything around the bridge is virus. It's all L virus. And then up to the top is a window that you see where Munimon, more Virusmon, and Raydramon are actually fighting. So Dogachmon's all like, "Oh, I got this. It's all good." He goes to blast, but before he can get that blast off, he gets swamped by a bunch of Virusmon.
Don't forget, too, Musimon got infected.
I was going to get there.
Oh, I thought it was before this.
It was.
Well,
maybe we should...
I think in the same time
that
Dogachmon was getting pulled under.
Oh, then it...
Yeah, okay. Musimon got infected. Which was kind of funny because
it was funny. He's the best part of this episode. Just say it. You've already said one. You've already said the best part was the wrestling with Musimon.
Okay, yeah. No, it was hilarious. So he gets hit with the L virus, and then all of a sudden he also goes into this trance.
Yeah. And
he starts saying, virus, virus, and he's like dancing and dabbing with these other Virusmon, and it's a really ridiculous scene. So then cut back to Dogachmon, and he's getting pulled down into this virus, this vat of virus by all these Virusmon, and then they just kind of push him down and then leave.
Yeah,
and
it's rough, man.
He's just kind of
drowning him, and then just.
I think before he actually went down, he told Haru to run away. So of course Haru runs away. And that's the end of Atmon as we know it.
No. You watched a completely different episode than we watched.
Okay.
In the one we watched, you see Dogachmon floating down into this lake of L virus.
And then you hear a yell.
You hear a yell. You hear, and then you just see a cannonball of this kid just jump down into this
we actually talked about it earlier. I guess he doesn't know how to dive. So instead of like diving or anything like that, he just cannonballs in.
Which is cool. I mean,
now let us remind you that the virus can still affect Haru's body because it's data in this plane.
Right. So he starts swimming down, right?
And he's getting covered in purple, like
his
virus
face
and everything.
starts purpling because of this virus. But he's swimming down the whole time, like
And we didn't mention, and this kind of hurts me a little that we forgot this. But when Gachmon was talking about, maybe Taimon will notice me or something like that back in, they were talking about Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
You actually kind of zoomed out, and Taimon was watching them, like on a little screen.
That's right.
So I thought that was kind of funny, kind of cute. But anyway, go back to more pressing matters with Dogachmon falling, Haru swimming after him, getting covered in this L virus and everything.
Telling him that we have to get out of this thing because if the Virusmon take over, then there's going to it's going to screw everything up, and we are the people that have to save it.
Don't give up.
Yeah.
And then their hands meet, and then all of a sudden there's just a white space.
They die.
Yeah, they're in.
They go to
the Applimon afterlife.
Yeah. No, they're
all
saved, I guess.
Yeah,
by
all
Taimon,
of a sudden
right?
in Taimon's like domain,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Oh, it's time." Like you guys have proven to me
you two have
that your bonds
caused my heart to throb.
Oh yeah. That was his exact words. His heart was throbbing.
Oh man. But so their bond was what did it for him.
Yeah, it was.
And he said,
it was
time.
So strong.
Let's do this ultimate. Let's do this ultimate thing.
He's like the ultimate of ultimates.
Yep. So he gives him his chip, the chip of himself.
And then they Appligate, Dogachmon, and Taimon. And we actually have our first Gatai and her fusion from like a long time.
That's true.
Yeah, like James and I forgot what it sounded like.
Yeah. But we get Globemon.
Yeah, all this magic happens and everything, and Globemon pops up.
That's that Clownmon.
That's almost close. It's close.
James doesn't know how to write G's.
I don't know what letters very good.
Is that supposed to be an N? Because that looks like a W, bro.
It's an N. Oh. It's the. Anyways, it's not an English lesson for me. All right.
Okay. Gotcha.
No, so Glowmon sort of looks like, almost like do you know season 3 Gallantmon? You know Gallantmon, right?
Yeah.
He has a Crimson mode. Mm-hmm. Have you seen it? You remember his Crimson mode?
Yeah.
This looks just like
Stands straight up.
Looks
pretty
super
robotic.
Red,
red and green.
Got the wing things.
Got these great, brilliant wings on his back that are just kind of clear green.
This is like Gallantmon times 2. Like version 11.
He looks awesome.
This is OS. Yeah.
So at that point, he's saying ultimate, the ultimate of ultimates. And
can you put some emotion into it?
I did. That was as much. So
ultimate, the ultimate of ultimates.
And the stats for Globemon, 60,000 power, which is more than we've seen. He's ultimate social app. Global ability is his ability. And then he says from super to ultimate, the Appmon era changes. I am the Appmon that stands in the center of Earth, Globemon. Everything in this world is within my search. And then a 60-second limit pops up. And
so this is something we'd never seen before, though.
Yeah, this is new. Like, apparently it's so strong that they can only maintain the form for 60 seconds.
Yeah.
And Haru's like, crap, we've got only 60 seconds. And Globemon...
It's not enough time.
He brings up how many of the virus there are.
Did you...
929,431,937. And Haru's like, there is no way.
There's no way.
And Globemon is just saying, 60 seconds, in the expansive world time, that's a fraction of its life. But in my time, that's an eternity.
Yeah.
So then he does this move called glance gazer. He does
in order to get that number, he does ultimate search. And that's when he
ultimate search basically locks on to every single virus mon in the entire world.
930 million.
One of them, not 929 million. Man, come on, get it right. So at that point, you see one virus mon, and they're like, "Oh, for some reason, I feel like I've been found."
Yeah.
And at that point, like, he just shoots out a beam, and it starts hitting him, like, all over the place. And you see the number going down, but not really that fast. And that was the glance gazer that we were talking about.
Well, glance gazer, is the whole. He does the
beam.
That's
like
the beam,
search,
right?
and then the beam, yeah.
Okay.
And then whenever Haru mentions, like, oh, I don't know if we're going to hit it in time, he's like, don't underestimate all this, and all of a sudden, all these orbs pop up. You see the globe. You see the entire Earth.
You see Earth.
And then you see orbs everywhere, and they just all start shooting, like, rapidly all at once. And, like, if this were, like, an alien attack on Earth, we'd be done, folks. Like, Earth would be destroyed. There'd be no more.
But Globemon he has that precision.
Yeah.
He only hits
Virus. Virusmon, just destroying them. Takes them all the way down to 1, and the time is ticking. Like, it's like, 3, 2, and then he goes and does one final attack. Schwartz cutter. And the last
Schwartz. He uses the Schwartz.
Oh, it's Schwartz cutter. Sorry. What, the Schwartz will always be with you, James.
That's right. But he finishes off the
waffle
OS virus.
The giant waffle in the room that I didn't mention earlier that was really important.
You did mention it.
I didn't. Well, I mentioned it way earlier, but whenever he got to the room,
you mentioned it in passing.
When I was describing the room, I didn't mention the waffle.
It was at the end of the bridge.
Yeah, it was at the end of the bridge. So it was the last thing that had virus on it, and he goes up to it and just slices it in half, and viruses is out.
Time limits out.
He turns back. The day is saved. Unimon disappears. Oh God! The day.
Say it like that.
The day is saved, and Unimon disappears, and everybody's good. I guess Ray and Ragemon just jump.
After seeing what just happened, wouldn't you get the hell out of there?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, though, they can't turn into that form again soon, as far as you know.
She doesn't know that.
That's true. But she could have just jumped on him, beat the hell out of him. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
But she doesn't know how many others can do it either, though.
True.
Tactical retreat.
Yes.
So at that point, we cut back, and everybody's back at the library, and Watson's like, "Oh, I just downloaded the new LOS." Like, he is over Waffle OS, as we will find out.
Yeah.
So then Unimon is angry. I wrote, Unimon is angry about Ultimate Atmon. Essentially, she's just mad that they figured out this new form. And then Coachmon actually is just like, oh, I mean, our strategy was a great success. And then it shows a screen, and it's showing that since the virus, everybody's dropping Waffle OS, and instead are signing up for the LOS.
Yeah, it's gone from... They now have 90% of the...
And Waffle's only 10%. And we just kind of end with that. We have a nice little thing about Globemon and his Schwart cutter.
They got some weird attacks, these Ultimates. But we get into episode 20. Goodbye, Astra.
Was I supposed to sing
it's
the other half of that?
Yeah,
it was a song? Oh, Dream On's Nightmare. And moving on.
So this is a tough episode for my boy
you?
Astra.
Were you feeling it in your soul, in your heart of hearts?
I don't like seeing Astra struggle like this. You know,
yeah.
It's good for the soul.
No, he's fragile. He's just a kid, by the way. Keep that in mind, though. He's just a kid.
This is Japan.
And this is his dad's putting a lot on him, right?
His dad had a heart attack.
He was the one that decided, I'm going to be the one to carry over my family legacy and become heir of our tea house.
That's what I said.
Still tough.
He brought it on
how many
himself.
millions of?
It's tough for a kid, man.
Yeah.
He knew this was going to happen.
I mean, and he's only an elementary student too, isn't he?
Yeah. So
that is true.
So Astra, you see Astra and his dad drinking tea, and his dad asks him,
cracking open some cold ones with the boys.
He asks him if he wants to go train at a temple that he trained at
in
when
Kyoto,
he was a kid,
right?
in Kyoto.
Because in order to truly appreciate tea, you need a zen state of mind.
It's true. It's true.
And then it shows his dad as
It's
a
for 2
child.
years though.
bald.
Yeah,
and
bald kid.
You know, with the priest behind him getting hit with the stick,
Mhm.
the discipline stick.
He has to go for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So as he's telling him this, he faints. Has something goes on and he faints, right?
Yeah.
So then we cut to the theme song, get through the theme song, everything like that. So then we get to their little headquarters at the bookstore, right? And everybody's all down because Astra's there, and he says, "My dad just fainted." And everybody's like, "Oh my God, is he okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, he's cool."
And then Musemon's
he
like,
said he's from fatigue. He's
Yeah.
from fatigue, and they was like, "Oh well, it's great that he's okay." And Musemon's like, "Astra's gonna have to shave his head now." It's like, what?
Just
Shave? What are you talking about? And Astra tells him, don't say crap that you.
There was also some really weird animation there.
There was some weird animation.
It was a little funky. Astra's face.
It was like a
really bad.
kindergarten coloring book.
So Astra ends up telling him, that he may have to do this tea training in Kyoto for 2 years, and
That's
his dad wants him to, but Ginny wants him to decide what he wants to do.
And at all at the same time, they're all just like Ginny.
Yeah. And so
turns out,
we cut to this blonde lady.
who is Astra's mom, and her name's Ginny, which I don't understand why he doesn't call her mom. He just calls her Ginny.
I feel like we find that out in a later episode. but I
Okay,
can't-
we'll revisit this later. But apparently she is
Table thing.
English, right?
She's an English lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so she tells him that
the backstory,
So we get a backstory.
of how Astra's
and
parents
this
met.
you brought something up in this that none of us even noticed.
I noticed.
And it's so crazy.
something.
I
But
noticed it
in
after.
the
So-
subtitle.
yeah,
as
so
we were watching it.
So she says she came to Japan after she met his dad at a tea shop in London, right?
And it shows them.
Yeah,
She's
shows them meeting,
She
you know.
sees some tea on a shelf that she
It's
wants.
that-
and she
yeah, it's
reaches
that-
for it.
yeah, it's that
and
thing
then
where their hands
he
touch
reaches and
as
they're
they
like,
both reach.
"Oh."
It's so corny.
And
but-
his dad was fairly handsome, dude.
yeah, and she's a good looking lady,
Yeah, yeah.
And so she comes back to Japan with him,
Mm-hmm.
right? Why does she come back to Japan with him exactly? What does she say?
She says that his dad became the top of her playlist.
Yeah.
But then she also says that she loves Ryutaro's tea, but tea is in quotations.
T is in quotations. What are they trying to say there?
I don't know if we got like a Mac Daddy Ryutaro
Dude,
going on here.
I think she wanted to say the D.
The D instead of the T?
Yes. But
Interesting. I wasn't going to go that route with it, but
Hey,
you took it there.
let's go there,
I'm
man.
just kidding. I was
I
totally
think
thinking
we all know it. We all knew it. None of us noticed that, though. I didn't notice that either.
Yeah, it was
That
the
is
second
crazy.
time I was going through the episode, and I was
I
like,
did
why
think,
did
though,
they-
when
why
she...
did they do that? Why did they put quotation on?
Like, in my head, I'm thinking that, like, as I'm watching this flashback, and she's like, I came to Japan because of him and all this kind of stuff. I'm thinking, oh yeah, but I never noticed that they are putting in there some like sexual innuendo, man. I didn't even notice. It's hilarious.
Well, we just got the explicit rating on our on our episode for this one.
So let's see, where am I at?
So essentially, what the deal is, if Astra ends up going to Kyoto,
Right.
he will not be an app tuber.
Yeah,
right?
you can't be the master of this tea.
But I mean,
thing.
his father is sick and everything, and he really wants to do right by his father.
Sure.
And he become an heir to the tea house for the tea ceremonies. So I guess at that point we actually jump to, it's like 2 a.m. and Astra and Musimon can't sleep because he's just got a lot on his mind.
Astra's hung up on the decision he has to
just
make.
what he's trying to.
Musimon's hung up on him having to shave his head.
Yeah, so Musimon, pretty much tells him like, "Hey, bro, if you have to shave your head, I'll shave mine
doing
too." You like that? I actually did your stupid.
You did. It's not
Musimon.
my stupid thing, by the way.
Your app to
It's not stupid, and it's not mine. It's
the
Astra's.
finger,
But,
hand things that he does. So anyway, at that point, Astra's like, "Hey, I got an idea. I've just heard of this sleep app that will help you sleep.
Dream app,
It's called a Dream app.
and it basically just plays soft music. Is what it sounds like.
Soft music.
You have some sheep that go across the screen, but you're not even looking at the screen. So why is it's just silly.
I mean, it wasn't lit up too after he.
No, he sets it down. It's a dark phone like the phone. That's gonna run his battery. He's not gonna have no battery in the morning. Doesn't even have it plugged up or anything.
Well, I'd rather run out of battery than catch on fire or explode on me while I'm sleeping.
So no. So anyways, this is supposed to help him go to sleep or have good dreams. Both. Okay.
And at that point, like as he's dozing off, I guess the phone lights up, and we see a Appmon pop out, and it's kind of CG looking.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like he's got some sheep behind him.
Mm-hmm.
He looks sort of like almost an aardvark or an anteater.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like what was the fortune telling app?
Tellermon.
Kind of like Tellermon almost a little. He's got like a cloud so you can't see his lower half. But so then we shoot to, I guess, Astra's dream.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like at this temple, and he's doing like, that cleaning of the dojo where you get down and you take the rag and you run it across the floor. But he's got like 2 rags in each hand, and then he's got 2 on each foot. And he's like running.
He's also shaved his head, by the way.
Yep, and his head shaved.
And he runs across the floor cleaning, right? And he says, "We need to put this on AppTube." And he Musimon pops up and he says,
"His head shaved too."
His head shaved too. He's in his little
kimono
thing, and he says, "We don't have any signal."
Yeah, he shows the signal, and for the internet, there's no bars.
It's bad dream. This is a nightmare.
Yeah.
No signal.
So I think then it pops up to him having like a mustache, right?
Got a mustache.
He's in front of and he's in front of like all their students.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, Sensei, teach us how to make tea." And then it shows his parents in the background, and they're so proud. They're like, "Oh yeah, you did it. You're the heir to the tea house." And all of our millions of students.
Right.
And so he's getting bombarded by all these people like saying, "Oh, teach me how to make tea." And then, so he's like kind of like freaking out a little bit, having some anxieties. And then all of a sudden the mustache goes away and his hat comes back on. And he pops up and he's in the back of a limo with Musimon.
Yeah.
And this is the other side of that dream where he's like a famous AppTuber. And then they show a really stupid looking limo with his face all over it, which I thought was really dumb.
Oh, whatever.
I'm just saying, if you're going to be this big an AppTuber to have your own limo, you could come up with some better designs than your freaking face.
What's better than his face?
Have his name all over it. Put Musimon all over it.
Yeah. Oh, that would be great.
Yeah. So, and all of Musimon's forms and all their fights, all their winning. Like kind of like one of those murals.
Now, who's taking pictures of that?
I'm not saying you have to take pictures of it. I'm just saying they retell the story, more on their favor, and
less
let the painter go with it. So anyway. They're all having fun, and they're in this limo. Then he gets out, and he's at the gates of his house, opens it up, and then his entire estate and everything is just gone.
Gone.
You just see the stone the foundation where it used to be. And then his parents walk up, and they're all like older,
super
and
old,
braid hair. And what does his mom say?
I don't remember.
No successor, no life.
No successor, no life. And she does his hand thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's actually the end of this episode.
It's not. He wakes up from his nightmare.
Yeah.
And Musimon wakes him up, and he's asked like what's going on or whatever, and then Dreammon comes out, and they're like, who are you? And he tells them he's Dreammon, and or they ask him, "Are you the reason why Astra just had this bad dream?"
And it's essentially like if you're having contemplations in your heart,
right?
That's what comes out. That's what you dream. It's actually right here. The dream you had is based on the fears and worries that are in your heart.
Yep.
Which is basically what I just said. But
then you hear Astra's mom coming,
and all that,
and they shoot up.
And it turns out what happened was his dad wanted to kind of get in better health.
Yeah, the doc told him.
So he went for a walk, but he hasn't returned, and his mom hasn't heard from him at all.
He's not answering calls.
Nothing. Text, which I don't know if in this day and age old people know how to text.
He knows how to use an app.
That's true. He doesn't know how to use it.
Well, kinda, because he's...
Maybe they just set it up for him.
Yeah,
but
probably.
It told him that he needed to walk and stuff. So at that point, Astra runs off. And then it cuts to the dad, and he's jogging across this bridge. And he's just exhausted. And he's like, what the hell? And it's just like, oh, run 6 more miles
go
or
more.
whatever. Yeah. So he's like, you got to be kidding me. So he goes a little longer, and then all of a sudden you see an infected Appmon.
He starts to kind of faint again, right?
Yeah.
Or he like falls to his knees.
He's like, no.
So no, he's not Afro Man.
I didn't say
That would be great though.
I was
if
saying
Astra's dad turns out.
takes the mask off.
Yeah.
I was this guy all along. So that's whenever we find out that this medical app, there's an error in a medical app, which is a. Wow, did we get his? Where did we get his?
It's not there yet.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's later on. So essentially, this Appmon that is in charge of these medical apps starts, running all these errors through hospitals and people's apps and stuff like that. And one of the ones that I really loved, which I almost
now you can
flubbed
tell
on
everybody
last
about it.
episode.
Yes.
You're an operator.
It's sending false info to doctors and hospitals, and it was like it shows a doctor who's looking at a computer, and he's going through this old man's like stuff, and he's saying like, oh, 80 years old, blah 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 blah, and he turns over and there's a little girl sitting in front of him, and she's like, no, I want to be young and beautiful. And then
You're obviously not an
and then the next one was next one was pretty
Yeah,
great.
it's an operating room and
Very serious stuff.
He's like, okay, we're ready to start. Hit the lights.
yeah, and then the lights like a disco,
And music comes on.
music comes on and
Everybody
everybody starts
dancing.
dancing. The patient sits up.
Which doesn't make any sense.
Which by that point
He's
he
supposed
should
to
have
be
probably
under
been
anesthesia
under.
at this point.
And then the person like takes his mask and his hat off and it's Afro Man.
And he starts getting down.
No.
Is he so? Somebody should go back and rewatch all
Like
20
every single one of
episodes
his jobs.
and find out what all this dude
Well,
does.
Okay, but here's my logic on that. Here's the thinking. Maybe after every single job that he does, that
quits?
gets infected by one of these apps, he gets blamed for it and gets fired.
Oh.
And then he has to get another job each time.
So it's not that he works all these jobs
Them's-
simultaneously.
them's
He's just got
breaks.
a run of bad luck. It just gets.
But so you're telling me though that he has gone to medical school.
I know.
He has gone through train conductor training.
Listen, maybe whenever he was a younger Afro, back in his days, little baby Afro.
Yeah, little baby Afro.
He decided to go to school for all these different things, just so his options are open.
He went to super trade school. Learned every trade.
A smart guy.
Yeah.
So this is where we find out that it's an infected super Appmon named Medicmon that's causing all this trouble.
Yeah, because Gatchmon does a search.
Yeah. So then we see Astra, who's been out looking for his dad.
Well, I think before that, Eri and Haru and their
Oh, they
Appmon
go into
the
the-
AR
yeah, they go into
field
the
to
AR
fight
field.
him, and then they start getting attacked by all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. But while Astra's out looking, Dreammon pops up, and he puts Astra to sleep with his little sheep things that flow
it's
around.
like
him.
it's like a nice little ring.
Yeah.
On behind him of sheep, right, and
Yeah.
it's constantly going in a circle.
He puts him to sleep, so Astra goes into this dream, and you got Dreammon there, and he's telling him, "You got to decide
choose.
between being an app tuber or being the
He makes
successor."
him
Right?
decide in the most douchebaggery way.
So then he's he's like, I don't want to choose.
Yeah.
So he says, well,
they're on this golden scale.
yeah. So
floating
then
in
he
the
sass,
air.
you got to choose. Not only do you got to choose between being an app
This-
tuber or a successor,
You have
but you
to
got to choose
choose.
between Musamon or your dad.
Yeah.
And so you see this scale, and you got his dad on one side, Musamon on the other,
and it's kind of swaying a
yeah,
little.
and it's like hovering over this giant
abyss.
canyon ravine
Of
thing.
like shadow snakes or something like that, right?
And so, yeah, and the scales are tipping in
Swaying,
different
they're
directions.
flying all over
Yeah.
the freaking place.
And so he decides that he tells him you got to choose one or you're going to lose both. And so
Astra thinks about it for a little while.
thinks about it, but then,
And then he's like, I don't want either one of them.
Screw
And he
this,
just
I'm
dips
out.
out. Yeah, he just leaves, right?
no. There's actually what happens, everybody, is he turns around, walks a little bit away so he can get a running start
And
because he
charges
charges at the
the cliff.
cliff, jumps off, right?
Undershoots the target.
Yes.
Way undershoots.
Starts to fall down into the canyon thing. Hops from
like
nightmare
shadow,
eel thing's head and jumps and grabs onto the scale.
And he kicks its butt.
So,
but then he F's up at the end.
He grabs either side
of the scale
and he's steady. He evens it out, right?
Yeah.
And Dreamon's like, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm not choosing. I'm choosing both of them. I can be both. I can be a successor to the family and an app tuber because with Musamon, I can achieve anything, right?" So, and then Musamon's like, "Yeah, we can." And they do their, he lets go of the scale to do his thing,
life, and then he falls, and then wakes up.
And Dreamon tells him that like he's never he did that
never
to
had
test
a reaction
him,
like that.
but he's never thought that'd be the reaction, and they passed the test,
and essentially
he's going to help him go to the ultimate of ultimates, right? And so he gives him his app chip.
He turns into an app chip.
Into the AR field, Astra goes with medium on it. He's medium on at that point. Well, I guess it's somewhere in between. They
transformed.
They evolve.
Applet realized medium on.
So Haru and Eri are in there, and Medicmon's chasing after Haru, saying like injection. And Haru's like, no, I hate injections. And so here comes Mediamon and Astra, and they go ahead and they evolve into
Applifusion.
Yeah, they Applifuse into Intermon, which is the ultimate.
Intermon looks pretty badass, y'all.
He is. He's got like the speakers and is it TVs or something back there? What is
like
all
screens.
Like screens? Yeah, and then
he's got all these speakers on his back, and he's golden.
Yeah.
He stands up pretty tall. He's a little bit skinnier than Globemon was.
Yeah.
But it's still really badass looking, and his whole move and everything that he does is great.
So yeah, what was the first thing he did?
He gets up and he says, "No Intermon, no life."
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Also, Intermon has 42,000.
I feel like he's probably the weakest of the Ultimates.
You think so?
That seems like because you go from 60 down to 42.
He's the entertainment app, and then the timer goes to 60 seconds. And then he says, "There will be a festival wherever you are. No Intermon, no life." And that's whenever he says, "Let's begin the solo festival." And he says, "Happy Phantom." And the Happy Phantom is essentially when all of these like phantom like people like lights. Basically, it's a huge crowd for him.
Yeah.
Like pop up to just distract the enemy. And then he does this attack called Porte Melos. And I think it translated to the music staves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so out of these speakers on his back, and I should mention whenever he first started this attack, all the speakers popped up everywhere, all over the place, and he's actually whenever he was first getting into it and everything and saying it, he's doing that whole thing of like I can't hear you, blah blah, to get people riled up, and then all of a sudden like he closes off all the lights and a spotlight hits Medicmon, and he's like, "One more time," and Medicmon just kind of hesitates. He's like, yeah. and Intermon's like, "All right, one more. I'll do this one just for you." And then he does the Porte Melos, and all of these music notes on staffs come out and just wreck shop on Medicmon. And then when Medicmon gets defeated, we actually find out that he's one of the 7 codes.
He's the 7 code. He's number 6.
Number 6.
One to go.
So we have one more.
We got the head.
Codes.
We're waiting on the head.
7 codes left.
Yeah, we gotta get that head.
And then whenever they come out of the whenever they come out of the AR field, they're actually on that bridge, and Astra's dad's like right over there. And Astra manages to get him home, and tells him that he doesn't want to go to Kyoto. That he says that there's something he wants to do here, and that he can learn from the experiences around here. and his father basically understands and lets him continue on being an Applituber and the heir to the tea house that they have.
It's a good episode, man.
Yeah, no, these last two were really good. I'm getting excited, man. We got one more Ultimate to go, technically two, and we get into some serious stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Soon we're gonna have another Applet driver.
How far are you? I think I got to 32.
I think I'm on around 30. I think there's like 39.
Yeah, there's
right
39
now.
now.
So I need to play some catch up for sure. But man, just vacations will wear you out.
Yep. Well, there it is. That's it.
Yeah. Well, actually,
No, it's not it.
we should have done this before. But John, so tell us a little bit about yourself. Yeah, you didn't think you were gonna get off the hook.
I was hoping.
What was your first experience with Digimon?
Was probably back around middle school whenever it first came on TV on cable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it came in around the middle of the first season and started watching it from there.
Yeah, Digimon Adventure.
Yep,
Yeah.
Digimon Adventure.
Who's your favorite Digimon?
Patamon, of
Patamon,
course,
yeah.
sure.
You and James both.
Yeah.
Love that little bastard. Okay,
He's
let's
pretty
go
awesome.
second. Let's go second favorite. Who's your second favorite Digimon?
Angemon.
No, okay, it can't be in the same line. here.
Outside of the line.
Yeah, outside of the line.
Outside of the line.
It can be from any season, any series.
Terriermon then.
Terriermon?
That's a good choice. That's a good choice.
Moment.
I like Terriermon was probably my favorite from that series.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was great. I mean, other than like
Guilmon?
Guilmon was alright. No, Justimon though, dude. Justimon was in that series. Freaking, that's like the embodiment of like everything that I love. Not to mention Gardramon was in it. Like they had some.
Gardramon.
Huh? I love.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
He was only in for a little while, but I love Gardramon. Favorite Digidestin? TK.
Yeah, obviously.
I knew it for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
TK had such a. TK should have been. He should have been the leader of the second series.
Definitely. I
7
feel.
days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he didn't
Just
have
what
goggles.
we needed, another
so
hothead in charge. No.
Did he have sunglasses? Didn't he have like sunglasses or something?
No.
He
I
had
can't
Ty's
remember.
old goggles.
No, that was Davis.
Davis did.
Oh, what are you talking about?
TK.
Are you following along with the same podcast? So you've actually played the games too,
Yes,
right?
yes I have.
Did you play? I can't remember. Did you play Digimon World?
Are you saying
the first
Digi
one?
or did you? I'm kidding. He's saying Digi. Right? Did you play the first?
Did you play Digimon World? I can't remember if you ever got around to that one.
Yeah, the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever finish it?
I never did.
It's a really long, kind of arduous game.
Yeah.
Did you finish Cyber Sleuth?
Yes, I finished Cyber Sleuth.
Cyber Sleuth was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one. It's pretty interesting.
They got the second one coming out, and
Yeah, looking forward to that
then
one.
we're actually in the middle of World right now. You're
I'm like right at the end of it.
Yeah.
I need to just get on there and finish it, but
Yeah.
I haven't played it in a
What's
while
your-
now.
what is your team right now? Do you remember? I know it's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a while since I turned it on. I think it was Rosemon and Munzimon.
Interesting.
So
Monzimon.
Yellow Bear.
The bear. We just talked about Monzemon.
Oh, Monzemon.
Yeah.
I thought you said Munzimon.
Munzemon?
I don't know.
I probably did.
Monzemon though,
Yeah.
yeah. We were talking about Monzemon, and James was under the impression like he hadn't seen him in a while, so he was thinking that Monzemon had a Edamon plush on his side,
belt.
and whenever he turns into Waru Monzemon, he gets a metal Edamon.
But
How
backwards.
it's
vice
backwards.
versa.
Edamon has a Monzemon plush,
That's
and then
right.
whenever he evolves into Metal Edamon, he gets the Waru Monzemon plush.
Yeah, I made a mistake, Jerry. You don't have to keep bringing it up every episode.
Why not? It's
This
so
has
much
only
fun.
been one
mess
episode.
with you.
Before the episode, he brings up my mistake of deleting that episode, though.
True.
Yeah, I think that's all that we've got for you folks, you fine children today. I can't really think of anything else, can you?
Thanks for
Anything
listening.
new? Yeah. And then now with them announcing finally when we're going to get our
Oh yeah, September, right?
next episode of Try, I believe so.
16?
We get that to look forward to.
Yeah, we will definitely try to. We need to try to like plan. Like, so whatever day it comes out, we'll look up the day.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can get together like soon after that.
You want to do that kind of like an interlude
just do
in between our episodes?
Yeah, just throw
of
that
Adventure?
out. Yeah, that way we have an episode
I feel
when
you.
it's relevant.
Also had another fan cast for you fine folks, because I know you loved those last
Sure.
episode. We've already got the numbers rolling in on that. We haven't even released the episode yet. But I think Vin Diesel as oh wow, I just lost his name.
It was who did we cast Vin Diesel as?
Nanamon, the round ball. That's who I'm casting as, because he's like this little short muscular dude that's all like, I don't know, really funky looking. I mean, I guess he does have a little bit of hair. Or no, it's like he's kind of got like a balding.
Yeah, he's
thing going.
yeah.
Even better. Vin Diesel as Nanamon. You like that?
I thought
No.
you said The Rock.
Huh?
You did say The Rock.
Didn't you
Did I
say
say
The
The Rock?
Rock?
Yeah.
You know, yeah, no, The Rock, not Vin Diesel.
Because we cast
They're
Vin
not the
Diesel
same.
as some.
Are
They're
they
not the same person.
Oh,
No.
okay.
It's a
They're
common
not
mistake.
Okay.
Because we cast Vin Diesel as somebody.
Who did we
in the
cast?
last
We cast
episode.
him as like TK or something, didn't we?
It was something way out there.
I think Vin Diesel would make a better like Terriermon or Gargomon. I would go for that. Machine gun fists, paint his face up, put some fake ears on him.
So this is not CG or anything.
No, hell no.
The actors are
Yeah.
playing the characters.
Did you ever
right?
see the SNL skit where they did a live action Bambi,
No.
where The Rock was Bambi?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes, I did see
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
Well, that's all for this episode.
Yeah, oh, been fun.
Taz, thank you
We'll-
everybody for listening.
See you.
Thank you for joining us.
All right, thanks for having me.
Yeah, anytime.
You're not gonna say anything, Brandon?
Bye.
There you go. Bye, everybody.
Later.